Today I will be talking about how people should use technology to educate themselves. So first I'm going to start off with a Mr. Feeney quote. And then he's from Boy Meets World, in case you guys don't know who he is. He says, Gutenberg's generation thirsted for a new book every 6 months, but this generation gets a new web page every 6 seconds. And how do we use this technology to beat King Koopa and rescue the princess? So he makes a very good point. Today people abuse the accessibility we have to technology, and we become unproductive as a result. So my goal today is to really put you guys in action and to challenge you to educate yourself at least once a day, because you have the resources to do so. So, my first point that I want to make is how we abuse technology. So throughout my own experience, it's clear that our generation does this by the use of Snapchat, Vine, Instagram, and our favorite, Netflix. We can spend hours watching movies. But what's important to know is that it's good to have quality me time and to balance the time to have your own relaxation. But because all this technology has become so accessible nearly everywhere, we tend to abuse that power. And a recent study states that the average person spends about 90 minutes on their phone, which averages out to 23 days in a whole year. So with 23 days, you can only imagine all the stuff you could have done or you would have learned, rather than the time spent on your phone just looking at people that you probably see every day on Instagram. It's important to be aware of the abuse that our generation uses with technology, because everything we see, we hear, or we read about, we're affected, and we might not even be knowledgeable about it, because we put a lot of useless information into our brains just from repetition of using the technology. So, for example, kids become a little brainwashed and they just zone into their TV, unaware of the environment around them. The act of war, of course we know that was a big conspiracy type of thing. And then what people say affects us heavily as well. So I kind of want to make a point. Could you guys, well, I was hoping there'd be more girls in the audience, but could you guys name a couple of characters from this picture?
The Kardashians.
Yeah. Do you know any of the characters' names?
Just Kim.
Just Kim?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me being a girl, I used to watch this a lot, so I could name all of these people, unfortunately. Could you guys name these guys maybe a little better?
Warriors, right?
Do you know the players' names?
Curry.
No.
Okay. True. And then do you guys know these guys' names?
Yeah, it's George Washington, Adams, some other ones, yeah.
Some other ones. Yep, well, what this was really trying to prove was that, a lot of people in our generation have information about things that aren't really that important, but don't really know the names of all of our countries or where they're located, or the names of even our first 10 presidents. So that's something that we should definitely consider as not a positive thing about our generation. And it's really important to make sure that everything we see, watch, and use on the internet is something that we want to store in our brain. So again, my challenge for you is to teach yourself something at least once a day. And these are some ways on how you can do it. There's YouTube videos of tutorials on almost everything. In my own personal experience, I've taught myself how to tattoo using just YouTube videos and resources from the internet. And another good idea is there's a lot of blogs about interesting topics. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Vice. It's a popular YouTube video, and they talk about everything from drug abuse to or not drug abuse, but about drug experimentation and about events that are occurring in the world that the media doesn't portray. And then also something that I really enjoy doing is watching documentaries on Netflix, just because I feel like it's a more useful use of my time. And one that I would recommend to you guys to watch is to watch this movie called The Zeitgeist. And it's just really inspiring in how it changes your perspective about certain social issues that we have today. So just these little things that you use every day can really help you learn something. So one person that was really big on self-education was Malcolm X. And what he basically did was he taught himself everything in prison. And he taught himself how to write. And he also said that what he learned in prison is something he felt he couldn't learn in the classroom. And that's an important thing in our generation, is we have to get out of that mentality that we can only learn in the classroom, because with knowledge at the touch of our fingertips, it doesn't make any sense for us to only think that learning is possible in one place. Alright, so again, with my own personal experience, I've taught myself how to tattoo, and honestly it's giving me a sense of accomplishment, because it's nice knowing that I can depend on myself to teach myself something and not on others. And it's also good just to train your mind too, to be able to teach yourself new things that you can learn, that you can use in everyday life. So now I'm just going to end with another Mr. Feeney quote, and he says, "It's not enough to leave school and just desire to succeed in this cold, cruel world, because then you simply become a part of it. You must also have the desire to change it, and to change it you'll need your young, fine mind and a good heart." Thank you.